Hello everyone, KingslayerKoshy, and welcome back to Plants vs. Zombies. In the last part, we took out the zombies in our backyard at night, in darkness, instead of the fog. And now we're on the roof. And now we got our first real zombies to deal with. The frigging bungee zombies. And also, you're gonna notice that we're gonna deal with pots. Like with the backyard, a certain section is gonna, like how we did the lily pads with the backyard and the pool in order to plant plants there. Basically, this entire level is dedicated to we can't plant anything except on those pots. So you remember how we only had to deal with 2 lanes being subjected to the if you don't have another plant that allows you to plant on said so if you don't have a lily pad to plant on the water, you won't be able to plant plants on the water, with the exception of some plants. This is the same rule with here. You don't have a pot to work with? Tough shit, you're not building any plants there. Also, you'll notice the only thing I'm really working with here in this setup is the cabbage bolts. Because the thing with these pots is that they're all tilted at an angle. And it's not supposed to go at an angle, but thankfully these cabbage bolts actually get the job done for now. But everything I have here is pretty much instant kill. Everything I have here is pretty much all the insta-kill explosion tools, because none of the other plants I have will work. Because everything's on an angle, and there's me misplacing my plant like a dumbass, so I wasted some money. Good job, me. At least this one's actually pretty easy, but yeah, there's nothing I can really do except just plan away with the cabbage bolts. And there's the bungee assholes at work. They come in to a specific plant and they take it away. Not fun, but you gotta deal with it. So in the meantime, for the first level, just take the cabbage bolts, the sunflowers, and whatever one-hit kill items you're gonna need in terms of explosives. Essentially, the jalapenos work well here, squash works pretty well here, cherry bombs work pretty well as well. Don't bother with potato mines, I don't think they're worth it here. I'm not even sure if they work here very well anyway, but yeah, just focus on getting cabbage bolts planted away, and as soon as you get to where I am, you'll pretty much be fine. So yeah, when I'm recording this, school's finally started, but hopefully this should be the last real week I'll be able to do any last minute recording. Fuck you, bungee zombie. And hopefully I'll finish this up, put this all up on YouTube, and afterwards, next week, I can actually start putting this playthrough up on YouTube. I'll have most of the parts ready, but I want to make sure I have it done by today so that I can actually focus on my studies. I'm almost done working on all my thumbnails too. I think, if I'm correct, I only have 3 more thumbnails I think I have to work with. Yeah, I think I only need 3 more thumbnails, so that's actually kind of nice, because I already had one planned ahead of time. Also, we got some new items for sale. We have the lawnmowers for the roof, which I recommend you get immediately, and then a bunch of level 4 or level 2 upgrades. And they are the cattails, the super spikes, as I'm gonna call them. I don't remember exactly what they call them there. They might be super spikes, but the super spikes, the cattails, I believe is what they call, and the gold magnet. The gold magnet is probably the easiest. It's pretty much what the what it will do is it will grab coins for you, so you don't have to go out of your way to start collecting the coins for you. So it's not useful here, but I think I've already told you before that in the endless mode, you can use the gold trims to pretty much pick up money as you get the later waves to get yourself some extra money that way. The cattails are used when you fuse up multiple lily pads, and they pretty much replace the lily pads and actually make them a very effective fighting tool, because I believe their shots, though they're a little bit weaker, I believe they're homing. So that's something really useful to have. Although a real pain in the ass about the cattails is you have to make sure that the lily pads are empty. And the last one is the super spikes, which they last a lot longer and they do a lot more damage. So normally with the Zombonis, when the Zomboni hits a spike, when you use it once, it blows up and it dies, but so the spike goes with it. With the super spikes, they get 3 rounds with it before they go up and before they disappear. And it's one of my personal favorite plants to use, especially in the endless mode. So yeah, so it's actually very useful there in that department. But anyways, the plant that we got in the second level was the pots. And basically that part's pretty self-explanatory. Now we can actually start planting a little bit more upward. So now we can actually start planting plants on the level playing field so that we can actually use our pea shooters and repeaters, which is good. They also make good use for things like the pole vaulters. Also, I guess I should probably put the cabbage pulse, because there is something a little bit unique about them that actually does make them kind of, that you do have to keep in mind with them, and that is the, what is it? The cabbage pulse are actually slower than regular plants, so you have to keep that in mind. They're slower than pea shooters and repeaters, so they'll get off less shots. The rate of fire is less, but they do more damage. So that's something that you can take advantage of when using these plants. So yeah, the strategy here I would recommend doing is just use the pots if you need to as a distraction. Start planting pots upward, and when you do that, use tall nuts to block them off. And eventually the strategy won't work as well, because we're eventually going to meet up with a zombie that's basically the rest of the zombies here, with the exception of, I believe, 1 show up. But I guess I might as well just say it here, because I'm not sure if I am going to do this endless mode, because one thing about this game is, obviously, this game is, it's fun to, I mean, if you like tower defense games, I think this is a pretty good tower defense game to play. It's just incredibly boring to watch. And for a lot of people, it'd be kind of hard to watch, and I can understand that. I mean, the only reason, under normal circumstances, I probably wouldn't watch it either. The reason I watched it is because the commentary was kind of interesting. I guess this was kind of a challenge for me, and I guess I can probably safely say I failed it. Is it a bad thing? Not really. I guess it's just more experience for me than anything else. My parents will probably think I'm insane, but I've already accepted that I'm insane anyway. So in the meantime, I'm just gonna... Yeah, this is pretty much... I pretty much just have a complete setup of what I need. Three columns of cabbage pulse followed by a column of tall nuts. Just getting a lot of sun, and eventually I'll set up a couple of random pots here and there just to use up the one-use explosives. Because the pots thankfully have a fast regeneration rate. I would hope, because you kinda need them. But yeah, and also thankfully the cabbage pulse. Also, thankfully they actually reach to the end of the screen. So as soon as they see an enemy, they will start going crazy. They will start shooting like mad. So yeah, with that, that's pretty much how this rest of the stage is pretty much going to play out, unfortunately. God damn it, I wish I actually had something to say right now. School started for me. I nearly got busted. I think I nearly got busted for sleeping. Thankfully, a student next to me actually managed to get me to wake me up like in split in time, because he was about to sleep as well, but thanks to my sickness actually caused me that as a result. Actually, like, I started to notice that I was snoring whenever I sleep, probably because my throat's really busted up. It's really dry, really sore, probably coming from all the mucus in my mouth or whatever, mucus in my nose or whatever coming in my throat, but whatever. God damn. God. Friggin' bungees. The bungees are... I'd say the bungees are the most annoying thing here, but I'd be lying. The most annoying thing here, I don't think we see in this part. But anyways, we get... What's the... Yeah, kernel pult. I was gonna say corn pult, but yeah. Okay, so... As you can see, we're dealing with... As you can see, there is an enemy there with a zombie there with a ladder. I was alluding to this earlier, but now we've reached some of the more annoying zombies here in level 5, and this is probably where you're gonna have to have some really good thinking and judgment on your part, because now we're gonna be dealing with some pretty tough zombies. So if you remember, one of the more important things to do is that I like to do is use the tall nuts to pretty much block off most enemies. With that enemy you saw there, the ladder zombie, what happens is he actually makes use of the ladder. Whenever he sees a tall nut in his way, I'm not sure if it also works with the walnut, but I know for a fact that when he puts a tall nut in his way, he straight up just puts down the ladder and he can just walk over it. Well, and any zombie can walk over the tall nut when there's a ladder in front of it. And that's very threatening. Thankfully though, the magnet shroom can actually work on it, but unfortunately right now, since it's daytime, we can't use it. Eventually we're going to reach a point where we get a special plant that allows us to use shrooms in the daytime. It costs a little extra, but it does make we can actually counter the ladder zombies. And any metal zombie in the daytime, for that matter. So right now you're probably wondering, what's the kernel pult? I believe it's a little bit more expensive than the cabbage pult. And for right now, what I recommend doing is having one cabbage pult and one kernel pult in each row. Because the thing with these, this combo is, I believe the kernel pults do less damage, except when he throws the butter shot. The butter shot, I think, is the same amount of damage as a cabbage pult, but when you hit, and then when an enemy gets hit with the butter shot, they're immobilized for a little while. So you can use, so your plants can stack on the damage before they get much closer to you, which is very helpful. It's not the most powerful pult in the game, but it's a very valuable catapult. Although it is also a very important catapult as well, in addition to the next pult we're gonna get, because this pult, the kernel pult, actually leads to probably one of the most destructive upgrades in the game. But it's also probably one of the most difficult upgrades to use strategically because of how it works. And what it's called is the Kernel Cob Cannon. And what it basically consists of is using, I want to say it's, I can't remember if it's 2 or 3 kernel pults. What happens is, you use 2 to 3 kernel pults, and you fuse it with the purple seed, and they come together, and they no longer shoot, but it becomes this friggin' giant cob of corn that you can shoot over as a missile and destroy any, and you can call it down anywhere on the screen where zombies are, and it destroys them. Okay, as you see with that tall nut on the screen, you see he has a ladder on it. Now, any zombie that reaches that ladder will straight up just walk over it. Do I leave it? It dies before it even reaches it. Because I'm not sure. I believe I could. I think what I try to do is actually just show up what happens when you have to deal with the ladder on the tall nut. But you can also place a explosives work, and as well as the magnet shroom, but of course we don't have the access to the magnet shroom because it's daytime. We will eventually get a plant that allows us to do that, but I think I'm trying to show off what happens when a ladder is on there, but every single plant is getting killed. Every single zombie is getting killed before it reaches there. So there, as you can see, the zombie, the ladder zombie just walked right over the tall nut. It's also faster when it has the ladder. When it doesn't have the ladder, it actually slows down. So it's a more dangerous version of the javelin zombies. Hey there, as you can see at the bottom of the screen, you probably saw it, and there you go. They not the ladders are there. Zombies, when they reach the tall nut, they don't bother eating, they just walk right over. Oh yeah, and another note to take when dealing with the frigging zombies is that when bungee zombies, they can take away your plants, but they can also drop zombies off. I'll discuss this plan next in the next level. See you then.